Jon's going to convince them to fight alongside him. They need to believe it's a fight they can win.
For them, winter is almost certainly coming. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Game of Thrones characters that are definitely gonna die.
A very small man can cast a very large shadow.
Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we'll be looking at the characters who most likely won't end up making it to the end of this brutal and bloody series. A spoiler alert is probably in order.
You suggested one-on-one combat, didn't you?
Number 10, Jorah Mormont.
How did my son die?
He never lived, my princess.
In all honesty, it's surprising that this former protector of the Mother of Dragons has managed to hold on this long. While he's proved himself to be quite the sword fighter, Jorah is nonetheless a walking dead man due to being afflicted with grayscale after getting a little too close to a stone man. The illness is known to be fatal, so unless he actually manages to find a cure, chances are he's not gonna last. This would be something of a tragedy, especially since his beloved Khaleesi is heading towards the battle of her life.
I love you. I'll always love you.
Number 9, Brienne of Tarth.
I won't leave him.
She's established herself as one of modern television's greatest female characters, but that doesn't mean she'll live past the final credits. Her strength, sense of honor, and attitude towards things expected of a lady make her an utterly compelling individual, and one of the last true good people still kicking in Westeros to date. And that might be her downfall, because if this show's taught us anything, it's that honor is a death warrant.
I will shield your back and keep your counsel and give my life for yours if need be.
But if this Stark ally does meet her end, it's sure to be a glorious one. After all, she did manage to overpower and beat the Hound, so she ain't going down without a fight.
I have no wish to kill you, sir.
Number 8, the Sand Snakes.
I made my choice long ago.
If there's one complaint that fans seem to have with Thrones, it's Dorne, the exotic paradise where these lethal sisters reside. Nothing of interest really seems to happen there, and as far as the Sand Snakes are concerned, they just aren't the most compelling of characters. They could barely handle themselves against Jaime and Bronn, and then tempted death by throwing in their lot with Daenerys against the full might of Cersei's army.
We must be allies now if we wish to survive.
The Sand Snakes were also responsible for taking out Dorne's rulers so they could seize power, which makes it hard to see them slipping away alive. Number 7, Euron Greyjoy.
I am the storm, brother. The first storm and the last.
He might be a newer character, but he didn't waste much time pissing off two of the most powerful and unmerciful ladies in all of Game of Thrones, which means he's totally dead. He stole the Salt Throne from Yara, turning the majority of House Greyjoy against her and Theon. Not to mention he plans to make Daenerys his woman by any means necessary. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And since Yara and Dany find themselves in an alliance, it's an easy guess that Euron will be tasting dragonfire a lot sooner than he seems to think. Number 6, Sansa Stark.
Stop it, both of you! You're spoiling it! You're spoiling everything!
She's made the leap from unlikable damsel to wounded but capable young woman. And through her trauma at the hands of beasts like Joffrey and Ramsay, Sansa has become wise to the wicked ways of the world. But there's still a good chance that before the series wraps, Sansa won't be there to take back her place as a true Stark of Winterfell.
I am loyal to King Joffrey, my one true love.
Maybe Littlefinger will actually manage to convince her to try and usurp Jon, or maybe she'll die on her feet like the proud wolf she's become. It's nice to think that Sansa's torture is finally ended, but with her string of bad luck, you can't get too hopeful.
No one can protect me. No one can protect anyone.
Number 5, Tormund Giantsbane.
Plenty of little men try to put their swords through my heart, and there's plenty of little skeletons buried in the woods.
Now this would be a game changer. This member of the Free Folk has proved himself as one of Jon Snow's most trusted allies, and an all-around badass when it comes to combat. He stood by Jon at the Battle of the Bastards, and survived the White Walkers at Hardhome. But when it comes time for the final showdown with the Night's King, there's an unnerving feeling that fans are going to see plenty of their favorite supporting characters bite the dust. If Tormund has to go, let's all hope he at least gets his chance with Brienne. Number 4. Jaime Lannister.
The things I do for love.
You hate him for crippling Bran, yet you feel sorry for him when he loses his hand. Everyone finds his relationship with Cersei utterly creepy, but then the chemistry he has with Bronn and Brienne is oddly endearing.
Would you have done it? Would you have kept your oath then?
All in all, Jaime is one of the series' most complex characters that blurs the line between sympathetic and downright despicable. And while he has survived some pretty horrendous conditions, you can't help but feel that with his sister having more than a few screws loose, he is in mortal danger. Whether he'll turn against her in the end, or stand beside her as Daenerys' forces approach, the Kingslayer's expiry date seems to be looming.
Ladies, have you met Sir Bronn of the Blackwater, hero of the Battle of Blackwater Bay? There you go.
Maybe I'm not in the mood.
Number 3. Grey Worm.
Torco
The commander of the Unsullied has proven himself as a certified killing machine, and one of Daenerys' strongest warriors. So no doubt he's gonna cut his way through more than a few of Cersei's forces when Targaryen and Lannister meet on the field of battle. However, it is undoubtedly gonna be quite the slugfest. And even with her dragons, Dany is gonna lose a few of her own. And the most likely candidate is Grey Worm. He may have done well against the Sons of the Harpy by himself, but the forces of King's Landing are far from pushovers. Number 2. Littlefinger.
That's their game. Their rules.
Peter Baelish knows the game well. His unrequited love for Catelyn Stark has served as the motivation for many of his deeds, but he's always had his eyes on the Iron Throne itself. While he's used his vast intellect to survive up until this point, he's also made a lot of enemies due to his many deceptions and vile acts. He betrayed Ned Stark, sent Lysa Arryn plummeting to her death, and even gave Sansa to Ramsay. A lot of people in Westeros want him dead, and while he may think he's safe, one wrong move and Littlefinger is in severe danger of getting a much-deserved knife to the back.
I made a mistake. A horrible mistake. I underestimated a stranger.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Paid by the Lannisters. You here for the bounty on me?
I'm not paid by the Lannisters.
No. Fancy sword you got there. Where'd you get it?
If it please your grace, he has taken a holy vow of silence. He has sworn that he will not speak until all his grace's enemies are dead and the evil has been driven from the realm.
Number 1. Cersei Lannister.
You should have taken the realm for yourself.
There may not be many heroes in Game of Thrones, but there are plenty of villains, and none is more sickening or more dangerous than Cersei Lannister. She's brought nothing but misery to the likes of Tyrion and the Starks, and the one redeeming fact about her, her love for her children, died with them, leaving Cersei to assume the Iron Throne unopposed as Queen of Westeros. With insanity seemingly brewing inside her, viewers can only guess what terrible deeds she'll commit before the eve of battle with Daenerys. That being said, we all know what happens to monarchs in this world. Here's hoping the trend continues.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. There is no middle ground.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.